Mr. Delby, appreciate you being here and appreciate you willing to serve at this capacity. Your pre-hearing questions, you acknowledge the need to expand broadband to veterans in rural areas. I come from West Virginia. My entire state is rural. I don't have one city larger than 50,000. The largest city in West Virginia is 49,000 people. So I have a state of towns, and they're wonderful. But basically, we are rural. And broadband to veterans in rural areas need the access that they have in urban areas. But to be VA benefits and healthcare, we couldn't even do telehealth. We had to do audio-only telehealth and then be reimbursed. And just an unbelievable situation. So I would say, if confirmed, how will you balance expanding initiatives like telehealth while also ensuring that rural veterans have access to broadband, that you can interact with FCC, things of that sort, showing where your real problem areas are?
Thank you for the question. And I think you hint on a couple of the areas that I think are really key there. For one, there's a signal that will come out of the VA of where the health care is needed. Absolutely. And where there are gaps. And I think it's important for us, and we can use the data that we have in systems and elsewhere in the VA to inform, hey, here's the relative priorities of where we need to improve.
What I might ask you to do there, it's really important, the maps, the FCC maps have been horrible. They're showing basically coverage where there's no coverage. And that's because it has been self-reporting from the broadband or internet services themselves. They're showing larger swaths of America that they're covering when they're not. And that gives them a little bit more areas. Anyway, the maps, working in the maps first and identifying and looking at the FCC maps, we've been trying to correct those. You all could be invaluable in helping correct that.
I think that's right. I think we can basically look at where we have gaps in service, where we can't go in telehealth, and contrast that with where the map is and identify those places where maybe a change in the priority needs to exist so that we can actually get that coverage. The other thing I think you can think about is telehealth at different levels. You know, a device that is a cuff that connects via cellular to the VA to monitor blood pressure is another solution. So you don't have to think of it as all full audio, video, telehealth. There are gradations there, and we need to think about how we deliver on multiple levels and expand it overall.
I'm saying, sir, you're going to have the opportunity to bring the VA into the technology world, really, and increase that, and we need that desperately. Really do.
I couldn't agree more.
Professional areas in the state and all over the country, in the VA hospitals and C boxes and everything else, they're in high demand of needing quality personnel. So whether it be cybersecurity, whether it be nurses, whether it be doctors, whatever it be, it's difficult for government agencies to keep up with the private sector in competing for the people of those high value jobs. So I guess I would ask, what's your plans and goals to recruit and retain the talent that's going to be needed to implement and maintain the VA's many IT sectors?
I think a lot of it comes down to how do you define the organization and create an organization that is a modern kind of state-of-the-art IT organization so that somebody looks at it as an opportunity. A college graduate in tech looks at it as a great place to start his or her career. How do you take somebody from the private sector and say, oh my gosh, there's a set of skills that I can learn here that are valuable in the private sector, and by the way, energize them around the mission that they have today. And so we need to create an organization that is very state-of-the-art in terms of, focused on vision, execution, agile development. And I think that'll be an attractor of talent.
I always thought that the prime spot for you all to recruit from is the military.
I think there's a huge opportunity
because
there.
Basically people that have served are going to be very sympathetic in understanding the needs of veterans. And there's a lot of people with high skill sets that can be brought in and be taught basically on these areas. I don't know what the VA is doing now in recruitment as far as active military that's going to be mustering out, if you will, if we're really going after that segment.
I don't know at this point in time. I couldn't agree with you more. If ever there were a skill set that you could inculcate in people leaving the military that would be valuable.
Well, you'd want to get people sympathetic to the military.
I'm sorry.
You want to some people that don't serve. You only have 1% of our population is basically in the professional military. But people that don't serve might not have the same desire or the same sympathy that we have and empathy for people that do serve. But people in the military should. And I don't know if if that's a good recruitment, or if we've been using that to the full extent.
I think there is, but I think there's more we can do there.
Well,
So
I
I'd be
hope so.
excited to work
I
on
hope
that.
so, sir.